Welcome, everybody. My name is Michael Como, Director of Content for T3 Live, and I'm here with Adam Mesh to discuss the nuclear bull market because all kinds of energy, electricity, nuclear stocks have been going wild. Meta just signed a big deal with Constellation Energy, and if you're looking year to date, the stocks like GEV, VST have been going absolutely wild. So, Adam, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great. Thank you for asking. Happy to be here. And like nuclear, man, I was all over that earlier in the year. And then, I think the theme of today is going to be very simple, which is do as you see, not as you hear. Okay, do as you see, not as you hear. Because after nuclear stocks got good, like what did we see? What do we know for a fact? We knew that 3 Mile Island reopened, that Constellation Energy was kicking. It set the nuclear stocks on, Oklo, all of those, right? Then all of a sudden they were getting higher and higher, and then all of a sudden someone came out and said we're not going to need as much nuclear as we thought, and they all got hit, and everything got hit. The URA, which is the ETF for nuclear, was down like in the low 20s. Now it's back at 33, and it just keeps getting hit. What did we hear about Coreweave when it IPO'd? It's not going to make it. Might not even IPO. Nobody wants to buy it. It got down to $35, right? That's not nuclear, but that's Wall Street saying, "Oh, it's bad," and it hit 155 today. So the whole idea of listening to things makes no sense. You got to see how things are trading, what deals are being made. Follow the money is the theme of today. When you are a trader, you must follow the money. And I just think that's so important. And I said Coreweave, I said buy it because everyone's saying it's so bad. I'm like, it's so bad, it's going to be good. I'm in this Core Z. I've been talking about that on every call we do for months. It was in the sixes. It's doubled. It's at 1246 today, and it just keeps going.
Yeah, that looks. Core Z in particular, it looks like it's just like grinding out the shorts because it's just going up a little bit almost every day.
Yeah, and I actually think the more I look at it, that it's setting up for a move higher, not lower.
Okay, so back to this the power theme, the nuclear theme, just so everybody's clear, like going forward, what names do you still like there?
The safest is URA because that's the uranium ETF. So that's going to be safe. And I think I have a nuclear list. So on my list, let's see, I have CCJ, which is up 28 cents today. Constellation Energy, which is down 8 points. Oklo, which is down. You know which one's up? My buddy gave me this. URNM is up 60 cents. APLD, I guess, was there news on it?
APLD, I believe did APLD just sign a deal with Coreweave? Did I?
Really?
I believe so. Yeah, so Coreweave signed a data center deal with APLD.
APLD is 159 million shares. What was the news? When was that news?
Today. So 11:22 a.m. Eastern time today. Applied Digital will provide Coreweave with 250 megawatts of critical IT load at its data center site in North Dakota. And Coreweave has an option to expand capacity by an additional 150 megawatts. So this is a multi-billion-dollar deal. It's big news.
It's multi-billion?
Yeah.
Hmm.
I mean, have you given any thought to just buying something like XLU because it does have, and if
What's today? Today Wednesday.
today is Wednesday, June 4th, 2025.
I mean, have I given any thought to what?
To just buying, like, I mean, because I was even thinking about it before this call, like buying XLU, because if rates come down, that's great for utilities. And then if Meta, Microsoft, Amazon, all these companies need crap loads of power, you know, it's going to be like these utilities are going to be supplying it.
Yeah, I mean, why is Constellation down and APLD up? Like, why aren't they all moving together?
I mean, so Constellation Energy, I know it got it popped huge on the Meta deal on Monday or Tuesday, rather, yesterday.
Right.
I don't know, maybe profit taking because it was up because it was already up, like it doubled from the April, Constellation doubled from the April lows.
Okay.
So maybe it's just, profit taking.
I mean, if you catch the right stocks in this market, if you're ahead of the news, you're getting paid. So this APLD is interesting just because of the volume, and then it's at its highs on this volume now. Like, let's take a look at APLD for a second, right? You want to bring it up?
Sure. Just
by the way, I was in this at 4 in February. I bought it at 5 after earnings and sold it for a loss at 492. So I just looked at that. It's a $2.9 billion valuation. Okay. Volume is 160 million shares today. It was 150 million shares yesterday. It was 239 million the day before. So that's significant. Exploring high debt. So this was yesterday news. Was it after the close?
It looks like it.
Applied Digital shares surged about 48% Monday after the company signed two long-term lease agreements with Coreweave for artificial data centers. Coreweave, backed by Nvidia, saw its stock climb about 8% following the announcement. Under the deals, Applied Digital expects roughly $7 billion in rental revenue over an approximately 15-year term, with lease payments set up front and an annual escalatory regardless of project costs. So the thing about these companies like CoreZ, APLD, they become takeover candidates too, right? Like, once you start doing these multi-billion-dollar deals, is it better to just own it yourself?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I wonder if there would be like regulatory issues to having. I mean, tech companies, they already have a lot of sway over society. If they decide who gets electricity and who doesn't, things might get a little murky, but who knows? But I mean, it seems like it would make sense for a lot of these like big utility companies to be buying like all the smaller ones that have anything to do with nuclear energy.
Nuclear, would you say that? I mean, it's nuclear combined with AI. That's where we're at right now, right?
Yeah. So to make a long story short for everybody out there, AI uses a shocking amount of electricity. When you go into ChatGPT or Grok or Claude or whatever, you type your command in, that server on the other end uses a lot of power. Now people are making videos and music and doing video editing and doing all kinds of crazy stuff using AI. The electricity needs are outrageous. That's why a lot of these services go down. Like it's literally electricity. So as long as like Google and Microsoft and Amazon are pushing hard in AI, they're going to be using a lot of electricity.
And so it's just this demand could be, so what that says is it could be a long-term play.
Yeah. I mean, it seems like that almost the most logical way to play AI. Because like, you don't really need to pick winners and losers. It's like literally electricity. Like who supplies electricity, who supplies the components, the supply chain in the middle. That's assuming AI takes off the way everybody expects it to.
Right. So, I mean, I think it's important to watch multiple stocks in the sector and see what's the strongest,
Mm-hmm.
I know that sounds obvious, but like as an example, if you were long nuclear and you came in, if you're like, oh, I'm just going to ride the strongest brand, which is Constellation Energy, you're down today. So it depends on your time frame and stuff like that. This APLD that's interesting, because if you look, I don't know what the numbers are, but like Constellation Energy is 95 billion. APLD, who Coreweave chose to do their deal with, is 2.9 billion. But now I'm like, wait, so APLD, is it a nuclear play? Data center, hosting business, cloud services business, and HPC hosting business. It offers infrastructure. I don't know.
I mean, because when I saw megawatts, I was assuming they meant electricity. But yeah, APLD is a data center play, as our friend Red Bull Max is telling us in the chat.
So it's the same thing as Coreweave.
I don't know the details. Like I haven't gotten that granular with it, so I don't know exactly what all these companies do. But it could be, who knows, that like APLD builds the data centers for Coreweave or manages them or whatever.
Let me find out. One sec. I'm gonna make a call. I can't say who I'm calling. I'm calling our phone a friend, mystery phone a friend. This is the guy who told me to buy it at 5. Hello? Quick question. I'm on a call with a lot of people, so I'm keeping you anonymous. But I have an important question. APLD, is it a nuclear play or a data center play? It's a data center play. And so they signed the deal with Coreweave? Okay. I looked. I was in it at 5. And now what's it doing? Okay. You bought more. So you think it's going to go higher? All right. I'll call you back. I'm on a call. I'll call you back. Bye. All right. Data center play.
All right. And I see 28% short interest for Applied Digital.
Right. So, right. Either we get that touchdown back to earth, or we get a squeeze higher. What do you think?
I feel like I wish we were having this conversation last week, honestly.
I think we're a little late.
Which might mean we're early. I don't know. These types of short squeeze names, definitely unpredictable.
Yeah, I guess you're guessing at this point.
Yeah,
the more it hangs near its highs and refuses to go down on this volume with a 28% short float, sets it up for a squeeze.
Okay. So let's lump together everything: AI, data center, nuclear. So we can just wrap it up for everybody and put a bow on it. You still like Coreweave, you still like Core Z, and you like APLD. Is that all correct?
Well, I'm not buying Coreweave up here. No way. That's too big a chase. I can't buy Coreweave up here. Core Z hasn't gone up as much. Remains a takeover candidate, and also they're both trading like they're going to keep going higher. But Core Z is really like been looking strong. So I like Core Z, and then the APLD. No, I mean that's something that, like, listen, if it dropped $1.50 right now, it would probably be out of it and not look at it again, right? It's more like, as long as it's keeping you in it, it's almost like you have to stay in it, because like the upside is like that squeeze factor, like this is the kind of stock that could open at 20 tomorrow. It could also open at 10, right? That's why I like options. I bought the 14 calls for 50 cents for this week. So like I'll risk 50 cents, and if it wants to like explode, those options will really pay me off. And if not, my risk is limited.
Yeah, it's funny. Like, on sort of a related note, I actually wondered if, like, the real trade right now is, the stocks like Robinhood, because we're getting, so much volatility, but we're still going up, and it looks, by all indications, it looks like volumes are up huge, and it does seem like we're getting all these new fun stocks like every day. Another one's popping up. Like, I mean, Coreweave is the latest example. It feels like the new SMCI. So it is interesting how many of these sort of like fun, half meme, half growth stocks that just pop up. It feels like every day now.
Yeah, I feel like that. You don't think that's all? I guess we there's some stretches where you don't have that. So it is fun when it's really hot.
Yeah. So what do you think of this environment overall? Because I was having a conversation with somebody who said there's a million reasons for the market to go down, but it just won't go down. And
I don't think there's a million reasons.
You don't?
No, I've been having trouble finding it. Other than the bond market. Why else?
I mean, all the tariff nonsense, and
but that's all been played out to the worst case. So it can only be better from here. So if anything, there's more good news in that front, right?
But I mean, the market has come back like what is it, 25% off the lows, and it still doesn't feel like there's resolution. But I mean, I don't know.
Right, but like they've already experienced like what they thought would be the worst case scenario. Now the market's got comfortable with that. So the idea is that, like, I mean, I think the bond market remains at risk. The bond market, if bond prices continue to rise at a certain point, there's probably a tipping point, and that's got to be it. You see this APLD new highs.
Did you send it higher?
It just started to shoot.
Yeah, I think that was us. But
no,
did you?
I know a stock that's trading 164 million shares.
No, I'm just kidding. But did you see what the American Express CEO said? He said that consumers keep complaining about the economy and tariffs, but they just keep on spending money.
American Express said that?
Yeah, which I thought was really interesting.
Yeah, I mean, look at this thing. I mean, it's interesting. And I'm not like trying to like classify anyone's job, but I thought I saw this guy who was driving a truck today, and he was like paint on his clothes, and he was clearly like type of construction worker, right? And I was at the gas station, and he bought cigarettes for $16.50. And I was trying to think in my head whether Like how much he makes per hour. Like, and did he just spend 1 hours of work on those cigarettes? I was curious, or is he making $30 an hour? And so, everything's just more expensive, including the wages. I don't know. I don't have an answer to it, but I found it interesting because that's like, I don't know.
Well, cigarettes are a weird case. So my father smoked from the time he was like 10 until he died at 81. And higher prices of cigarettes did not slow him down one bit. Not at all.
Right.
I mean, the thing is like skilled tradesmen can make a ton of money. I think like the real question to ask would be like, how many packs a day do you buy?
Right.
But yeah, but I mean, it's actually like related to inflation. But if anybody's gotten any work on their house done in the last few years, like it's expensive. It's got a lot more expensive to get anything done.
Right, but I think people keep paying for it, which is what the American Express guy said.
Yeah. I don't know how to fix a toilet. Do you? I don't know how to do anything.
I do a little bit, actually, to a certain degree. I don't know, but it's a fun market to be trading. Ron, I never heard of that stock. It looks like a SPAC.
Yeah. Maybe. Okay, so Adam, earlier you said you don't see any reasons for the market to go down aside from maybe the bond market. But does there need to ever be a reason for us to be going up or down? Like, does there have to be a specific catalyst?
No, but I think in the absence of news and movement, the market will always trend higher. That's like the thing, Mm-hmm. On any given day with no news, left to its own devices, the market will always lean up. That's just how it works.
Okay. So in this case, for this current market, do you think we need some kind of resolution on tariffs, or is the market fine with the wild back and forth?
I mean, do you even consider it a wild back and forth now?
Yeah.
I don't consider it a wild back and forth. What do you guys think? I want to ask the audience this. Do you think there's a wild back and forth? I feel like we were wild, and then we bottomed out, and then we just go higher and we buy any sell-off. Like even on Friday, last week on Friday, I was getting on a plane to go to California, and I think APLD is going up. Those were my orders. Yeah. Last week I was on a plane to Florida. It's California. And I had puts on the market, and Jamie Dimon spoke and said some negative stuff, and the market started selling off, and the Qs went down to like 512, was it? I think on Friday. And we were sitting on the runway, and I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to miss a big sell-off. And so I bought some more puts, and you know what happened? We hit 5. We hit 5. Was May 30th. What's today? Wednesday?
Today is Wednesday.
Yeah, so it was May 30th, Friday. We hit a low of 511.93 on the Qs. Right? Coming the day before, we had hit 526. Now, if you're considering that a big down move, then yeah, but it's not, right? But it looked bad. And I own puts, and I was making money. And by the end of the day, we had come back 7 points on the Qs to 519. And we're back through that at 529. And now we're like, any given day, we could push towards the 52-week high, 540 on the Qs. We're like about to cross 52-week high, that was unthinkable when the market was at the Qs were 402. 402. How long ago? And by the way, that's more than from 402 to 530 is 130 divided by 400. It's a 32.5% move in the Qs off their low. Now, when do we hit that? 402, April 7th. It's not even June 7th. In less than 2 months, we're up over 32%. So from that bottom, it feels like we only go higher and we buy every dip, and now we're going to push through highs, which is just crazy.
Okay, all right. Then I think we should read David's comment here. He says nothing has been resolved. Markets hate uncertainty. So how do you react to that, Adam?
Nothing has been resolved. Markets hate uncertainty. I don't think the markets feel uncertain. I think they're highly confident that we've experienced the worst, and that there's going to be only better news in the trade wars. Like, things can't get worse.
Okay, so do you think we're heading to record highs?
I'm not. By the way, I'm not. This isn't political in terms of that. I just think that's how the market's reading it, is that it's only going to be good. You know?
Yeah, I mean, political, like, who? I mean, we're trying to figure out how to make money. We can't.
Yeah,
like,
that's not.
People can't be. I mean, I think our audience is actually pretty good about politics. Like, nobody really gets cranky in the audience, because I think most people here are interested in making more money. So I don't think that's a big deal. But I do get the sense, Adam, that very few people are out there saying, I'm bullish, I like this market. Just don't hear it. Even at the bottom, I heard some people saying, yeah, this is the buying opportunity of a lifetime. I don't really feel that now. So, like, how do you think, what's your sense of how the crowd feels out there?
I think they probably feel like they missed out a little bit on the move up, that it was too much too fast, hard to see coming, hard to believe, hard to buy when you were late. I don't think they think the market's going a lot higher in the near term, but they also don't want to bet against it. I mean, this is how I feel, but I assume I'm honed into that crowd mentality, which is, so they're looking for individual opportunities, pick their spots, and make some profits, you know?
All right.
What do you
Sounds
guys
good.
think? Am I right? Do I know you, or do you feel differently?
Yeah, let us know in the chat. We'll ask you very simply, are you bullish or bearish? Like, let's not make this complicated. What do you think of this market out there? But I mean, do you remember at the bottom, it was like the VIX is at 60, like all the sentiment indicators at multi-year lows.
I mean,
yep, we have a couple of people bullish. Red Bull Max saying bearish short term.
of 14.
Okay, guys, we have to wrap up. We hope you had fun. We will be back next week talking. What do you think we're going to be talking about next week, Adam? What do you think is going to be the hot topic next week?
Probably bonds. Probably something with if there's treasury auctions. I think that's the one trend that will hold the market back, and I think that's going to continue to be somewhat of an issue.
Okay, folks. So keep your eyes on those bond yields. And if you want, click the link below for a free look at Mesh Prime. You don't need to log into anything. Just go down below and click the link, and you can learn all about his only product these days, Mesh Prime. Everybody have a wonderful day and good luck out there.
Thanks, Mike.